We first met Greg Dahl of GMS Racing Engines at the PRI show a number of years ago. He stopped by the engine builder booth to offer his knowledge and writing prowess. We took him up on the offer as his Uniontown, Pennsylvania-based engine and machine shop specializes in V-twin builds, performance work, dyno-tuned race engines, and custom-built cylinder heads. We knew his work was good, too, because motorcycle drag racer Stacy Bortz puts those engines to the test on the track in the American Motorcycle Racing Association Outlaw Street Class. One of the engines Dahl told us about was this S&S-based Evolution V-twin built for a customer in Toronto, Canada. We give you the details in this episode of Engine of the Week.
Engine Builder's Engine of the Week is sponsored by Pengrade. Precision, performance, Pengrade. Always the original green oil. L-Ring DOS Original. Leading technology, leading service. And Scat Crankshafts. Everything for your LS engine.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh Trokey for Engine Builder, and today we're talking about an S&S-based Evolution V-twin engine build done by GMS Racing Engines for a bracket racing drag bike. To start, Dahl used basic cases from the S&S 145 Tribute motor from about 10 years ago. Here's Greg to tell you more.
We had to do some work inside the case to get the big stroke to clear, so the rods would clear. All the parts are all hand massaged, but as far as bolting and fitting it together. In the heads, we put a 2-300 and 1-800 exhaust valve in them. Being that the RPMs of this engine will probably be, this motor will probably be shifted somewhere around 68 to 7,000, if that far. We don't have to run killer valve springs because of the real stiff valvetrain parts we have. I'd say valve spring pressure, we're probably going to shoot for 275 to 300 on the seat. It'll probably be about 800 open.
GMS Racing Engines did a lot of machining on the head since those came from S&S as unfinished castings. This is also a flat-top piston engine because of the 151cc size.
It's such a big engine, we didn't have to put domes in it, so we were able to mill the heads down to get the correct cc, to get the compression up to about 13.8, and at the same time, milling the head down that far also unshrouds the valve on such a big bore. So when we mill the heads down, we actually see the flow bench result a little bit, especially in the low lifts. It gets better because the valve's hanging down out from underneath the head some more.
GMS also finishes the cylinders in-house and does some machine work on the rotary breather gear to get the breather timing correct. There's also some extra machine work done to get the right valve clearance.
Being that we're trying to achieve this compression with a flat piston, there was a lot of piston machining to do. We had to make the valve reliefs a little bigger, but not deeper. We have to cut the rear piston for the front piston to go through it at the bottom of the stroke. The pistons are gas ported, and we run light tension rings on.
This Evo engine has a 4 3/8 bore and a 5-inch stroke, and a laundry list of top quality parts involved, such as a Redshift 715 cam, S&S special application engine cases, and an S&S billet high volume, high pressure oil pump, and also a set of GMS's own proprietary lifters, which are modified from High Lift Johnson. There's finless ductile iron cylinders from Axtel, JE pistons, pack springs, and Victory 1 valves.
Smith Brothers push rods, which are really cool. They're adjustable push rods, but they're 7/16 tapered down to 3/8. They got to be real stiff because they're 12 inches long. And then we use S&S billet rocker boxes and our own GMS 4140 chrome moly rocker stands. We use rocker arms either from S&S or R&R Cycle. We send all the valvetrain out to Hakimian Racing Engines for cryogenics.
To seal this Evo V-twin engine up, Dahl used MLS gaskets and has ARP fasteners throughout. The engine also features S&S 5-inch stroke flywheels, 8.5-inch aluminum connecting rods, and a single S&S Super D carburetor.
It's built to stay together for a long time and provide lots and lots of runs. It's not completely built full tilt. The compression is only in the mid-13s. We built a big engine slightly to the mild side to allow us to run the number without having to lean on anything too hard. And horsepower and torque-wise, they usually make about 200, and torque should be 190 to 200 on the rear wheel.
Well, that does it for this episode of Engine of the Week. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you have an engine that you'd like to feature, please email our editor Greg Jones at gjones@babcox.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.